Hey, fellow traders, welcome to the show. I'll start a bit earlier and we'll get this show on the road. Trump chaos causing havoc over the last week or so. It's coffee with Rob. Nice warm coffee. It's raining here in Cape Town today. Bit dark, so if the picture looks a bit dark, try not to concern yourself too much with it. But it's dark outside. It's amazing. It's quite dark. You know, we had a US naval ship in the port this weekend. I don't think that's supposed to happen somehow. I don't know. I haven't seen one before here. Who knows what they were up to? Probably just restocking or something like that. Don't forget the risk, guys. Most traders lose money, and you probably shouldn't be trading if you don't want to lose money. So how's the week been? How are you guys? I hope you're all here. Hi, Mohammed. Welcome. I see there's a few of you guys that have arrived early, so that's good news. We can get on the road and we can get going and we can get started with what's going down. We had thunder in Cape Town. You know, we don't normally get thunder and lightning here. It's an unusual happening. We have a very fine rain usually. We're a coastal town. And yeah, today we actually had some thunder and lightning. Can you believe it? So we're not really used to that. What am I doing? Oh, I'm moving everything around here. Let me not do that. That would be a bad idea. I want to move the picture down out of the way so that it's not too much in the way. That should be just fine, and you guys should be able to see that. But perhaps, well, what should we look at first? Should we look at the charts first, or shall we look at the news first? I don't know, because all this havoc, I'm going to talk to you about all the Trumpy tariff havoc and what it's caused in the markets and what's been going down and why it's actually causing the issues that it's caused. But all of our trades got taken out on trailing stop losses, including my New Zealand dollar, US dollar yesterday. By the way, I took this trade yesterday morning thinking, good trade that, eh? And I went to the shops and I came back and when I left, it was over $100 in profit. When I came back, it given me a $50 stop loss. The trailing stop had got taken out that I had on it. So I couldn't believe how this market's just jumping around, going up and down. So I got back into the trade because I just think it's not a bad trade. The New Zealand dollar, US dollar is not the worst trade on earth. As far as I'm concerned, it can still go. But it does tend to be following the US 500, which is a bit of an issue because the US 500 is getting shaken about by all these tariff stories, which isn't helping matters. And this morning I called you guys for Euro US dollar, but I said, wait and see what happens. We want to see if it's going to bounce out of this support or if it's going to break through that trend resistance before taking a trade. I see there's an hour 35 left before that plays out. Because if it's a big red candle, what's that going to help, eh? How's it, David? Hi, Lane. Hi, Coral. Good to see the regulars back on board here. That's always good, always good. That's nice to have you. Yeah, so we'll put up with the rain today here and the darkness, and I hope you guys can see me good enough and it's not too dark on your side, but it should be fine. I tried to make as much light as possible in here, and you know, I'm not a famous photographer or anything like that, or video maker. I do my best. Okay, so New Zealand dollar, US dollar is on the table. Euro US dollar was a possibility, but decided not to jump into that too quickly. Gold is on the way down. Look at gold. Gold is kind of running out of steam here and looks like it wants to sell off. There's a few people that are calling this to sell off. Now, there's two ports of call here. Some people are saying that gold's going to 7,000 and some people saying that gold's going to 2,000. You take your choice. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball or any predictive capability. Hey, Kevin. Okay, no problem, Kevin. You got your kids there, that's fine. Teach them how to trade, man. Get them an early start. This is something I actually question is, why do they never teach kids in school about, for example, the stock market or about finance or proper stuff, you know, not just normal maths. I mean, serious finance, real stuff in the world. You know, imagine having a class on the stock market or a class on Forex trading or something like that, or in business as such. And there's very little available on that in the schools these days, depending on the country you're in, I suppose. But I know in South Africa there's not a lot going on with regards to, and also showing kids life skills, life skills. You know, you go out into the world and the first thing they throw at you There's a big form to fill in if you want an ID, or if you want a passport, or if you want to open a bank account, or even just switch your electricity on. And you're like, what the hell is this? You have to go and ask mom and dad, what the hell? Why don't they teach kids that in school? Why don't they show them that sort of stuff? Yeah, it'd be so good for them at the end of the day. It would definitely be a big help. But anyway, trading is 50-50. No matter how you look at it, no matter what people say, and no matter how many people disagree, we all know that trading is 50-50 at the end of the day. Easter holidays. Is it Easter? Which weekend is Easter, Kevin? I'm not sure. You know what happened here in South Africa is they had school holidays now for the last couple of weeks. And now all the kids went back to school today. And I was just saying the other day, I think it was on the weekend, I was walking along the beach there with the wife, and we said, why did they not have school holidays over the Easter weekend? I know when we were kids, and when our kids were at school, most of the holidays used to run over the Easter weekend. And now they don't. Now suddenly it's like they had holidays for the last few weeks. Then they go back to school this week, and then they have Easter. Insane. It's kind of a weird thing that they didn't just run it over that weekend. But I'm not sure when Easter is exactly. I think, is it next week, or I'm not sure. But yeah, we shall figure it out, because they kind of change it every year. So it's and Bitcoin's also, yeah, it's come into play. So there's a possibility for a long trade here, but like the euro US dollar, you're kind of waiting for it to give you a signal to go up and to give you a strong upward trajectory. Just waiting for some people to get here. And we can talk a little bit about the news, and we can talk a little bit about the Trumpy tariffs. Let's have a look at the news while we're here. Let me just take us to the news. Hopefully I will be able to find it if I go there. No, that's the wrong one. I'll go there and I'll find it there. I should be able to find the news there. There we go. There we go. Guess whose picture's in the news? Come on, take a guess. Obviously, the usual suspects. It's always Elon. It's always Trumpy. Who else is in the news these days? And everybody is confounded by the stock rally, and people are confused by these tariffs and whether the market's going up or whether the market's going down. Gotta tell you guys, most exciting time for me is I can start investing more into the investments. I mean, all those shares that you own, all those investment shares, those are great. You just start piling money in there now, because the prices have pulled back a little bit on some of them, and you can load up. And it's the best time ever to actually load up. I've even got an S&P Exchange Traded Fund ETF. I always get that mixed up. Exchange Traded Fund ETF that I just trade onto the S&P with as well, and I just load it as well and leave it there. It's absolutely investments you can't go wrong with. It's time in the market, not timing the market. If you do hear a bird in the background, it's because they like to come and sit in my window ledge when it's raining. They get some cover there, that's fine. They can live there if they want to. Yeah, so what happened with this whole Trumpy thing? What's going on? Why are the markets crashing? Because he's putting tariffs out. And there's a lot being said about it. By the way, guys, if you want a funded trader account, I did leave a link for you in the description. Funded Trader Markets, that's the one we're trading with. And we need to get that up. So if you guys have got any trades, we'll have a look at it. So think about them while we're here today. Think about that. We'll try and add to that as we go today. But what's happened here is he's put his tariffs against other countries because America has been tariffed by those countries. So he thought in retaliation, he's going to put some tariffs out to other countries so that Americans can create factories and jobs and buy their own stuff instead of other countries' stuff. So, for example, when you walk into a shop in America and you find a Chinese product there, it's far cheaper than the American product. So the consumer ends up buying the Chinese product because it's cheaper. The German product or the European product or the English product or the Canadian product, whatever the case, that's why he decided that, people should be buying American. So we're going to change it, and we're going to make sure that people buy American again by making everybody else's products more expensive, obviously. Now, the downside to this is that all the countries in the world have done what? They've turned around and said, well, that's not going to work for us. We're going to put tariffs back on you. We're going to turn it around and we're going to tariff you instead. And we're going to retaliate because that's human nature, psychology. People are stubborn. So what do? They go and increase their tariffs because they got tariffs from the USA. So what happens now in a country like this one, for example, that I'm in, South Africa, I walk into a shop, I walk around and I see products as well. And I don't buy the American ones because they're too expensive, and I end up buying from wherever they were produced in Taiwan or whatever, something else, which is far cheaper. Now, what they've actually done in South Africa, for example, is they've made Chinese cars almost, there's no tariffs on them. They're tax-free. We used to call it import duty. Completely tax-free. So those cars are coming into our country tax-free, and everyone's buying them because they're a quarter of the price of all the other ones. And Europe is still tariffing us on cars, so we still got an import duty on cars. But that was actually put there to create production in South Africa as well, way back in the day. Before the government of the day came into power, actually, that was put into place, like a 60% import duty on cars, so that we would have more manufacturing in our country, and that's what Trump's trying to do in America. The problem with that is you come to today, and then countries like China start bringing their cars into our country, and we don't tariff it. We allow them to bring it in for free because we've made some kind of deal with them. So now everybody ends up buying their products. And effectively, our factories do end up closing down. So, you know, there's a whole story that goes around it, but that's why the stock markets are nervous, and that's why things are a little bit tricky. When China said, we're going to retaliate, and we're going to go against this, that's when the market started to really crash down, because, you know, think about it for yourself. At the end of the day, people started to realize that if China retaliates, then you're going to have the situation where a really big country or a big import exporter is going to be retaliating, and it's going to affect the market in one way or another. Now, we all understand that America is a really big market, so for South Africa alone to retaliate is going to be tricky. But when you look at the bigger picture, when they start all doing it as a group, as a whole, and people start getting together, like, for example, Canada and UK and Germany and those guys start getting together, it starts becoming a bigger market against them, and they start having a bit more of a Barney about who gets what and so on and so on. So yeah, no, it's not going to get any easier, I don't think, as far as that goes. So my concern for the market is that if that's going to continue, if this is going to continue on, if this battle's not going to get resolved, this is going to continue on to the downside. I wasn't expecting it to get to 48. I must be honest. I thought 52 was it. It's kind of like shot through that 52. And it's sort of bouncing back now. This is what I call a dead cat bounce. It's not what I call a dead cat bounce. It's kind of what everyone calls a dead cat bounce. You know, it's a dead cat bounce. What this is, it's come all the way down, and it dead cat bounce. You know, the buyers get back and they think, oh well, you know, that has to be the low, and it's not really. And it bounces up. It bounces up normally to about halfway, and then it falls over again. So the only way this is going to go well is if this starts recovering and going to the upside. But as it stands at the moment, it looks more like a dead cat bounce. How's it, Shane? Yeah, good to have you back. Daylight saving buggered me. Okay, that's fine, Shane. Don't worry, I've got serious daylight saving here because we've got a storm outside. It's actually raining in Cape Town. It's dark. Feels like Scotland, you know, Kevin. We get our 1 day of Scotland here today, or maybe our 1 week. I don't know. They said it might rain the whole week. So, yeah. But even then, it's warm. You don't see me dressed up in furs now, do you? Even though the house is warm, you know, at the end of the day, it's warm. You know, I can actually go walk around. I was sitting outside on my balcony a few moments ago, just relaxing and enjoying the rain. As a kid, I used to sit and watch the rain for hours. Loved it to bits. And I was actually doing that just now, sitting there just relaxing, watching the rain. It was quite good, really good. I suppose it's a bit cold in Europe to do that, eh? I can't imagine what it's like there. Suffering sea fishes. Yeah, Brent crude oil. There's another one. There's another one that bit the dust for us. We got taken out on Brent crude oil. Oh, it's been a tough time, hasn't it, eh? Tough time. Every time we choose a trade, it swings around and whiplashes us out of the trade. It's weird, man. I'm having a real weird time of it lately. But the strategy does work normally. It's just that at the moment things are a bit whiplashy. We haven't had rain for weeks. It's unheard of. We have grass fires and everything. Kevin, I think we've swapped environments, man. Insane. If you fib on the monthly for US 500, then prices bounced in and out of the golden zone. On the monthly, eh? Let's just go to the US 500. Is that a... No, that's a 15-minute or a 5-minute. But it's okay, I'll put it on the monthly. Oh, let's just go here. There's one on the weekly. And that's US 500. But let's just take it to the monthly and see what it says. I don't have much of a chart on this package. Yeah, okay, don't worry about it. It was so difficult when they don't give you enough information. Must be a new contract or something that they put in on this particular funded trading account thing. I'll have to go to my main account to check that. Maybe I'll do that later. Okay, that's fine. I haven't done a fib on it. But yeah, on the day, you know, you can see the bounce here on the day, and you can also see it on the 4 hour. There's a nice bounce on the weekly. There's a big red candle on that weekly, but it's giving a bit of a bounce. But on the 4 hour, definitely a bounce. On the 1 hour, certainly a bounce, and it's closed the gap. So the gap is closed, the bounce is in. I don't know, eh? We'll have to see what happens there, see how it goes. Let me put it back on the US 500 here so you can all see it and see what you're looking at. Okay. Monthly, don't forget to set your fibs to log scale 2. I think so. It is insane. My grass has stopped growing for lack of water. The farmers will be screaming for rain shortly. Goodness me, Kevin. I thought you lived in Scotland, man. That's supposed to rain there all the time. That's insane. Oh wow. Okay. Now look, to be perfectly fair, this is the first rains we've had in a while, because we only get rain in winter here. The rest of the country gets rain in the summer, and we get rain in the winter. But like you guys, we don't ever get snow. But you know, the coldest it gets in Cape Town is 4 degrees Celsius, which is nothing. And you know, we kind of, when we get hot, it's sort of 32 or something like that, a bit humid. Where I lived up north, we used to get 45 degrees sometimes when it was hot, and would get -3 when it was cold. So the extremes were much more up north, whereas here, this is the best weather in the world, I gotta say. And when we have rain, it gets a bit dark outside like this, and we're going into winter now soon. It's sort of just gearing us up for it. And yeah, our rain is very light and what have you. And we're very seldom, it's very unusual for us to have thunder and lightning, and we got some thunder today, so that's always fun, unusual. Strange that you guys have had floods in Queensland twice. Trump is affecting the weather as well as the markets. Yeah, I think let's do that, guys. Let's blame Trump for everything since he's there. You know, he's making all the mistakes, so we might as well blame him. You know, this whole idea of the tariffs, I'll tell you what, it's been a concern for me since the start. When I saw this happening, I thought, what on earth are we doing here? This can only end badly, and that's exactly what's happening. It's ending rather poorly. It's not going well. There's a lot of things happening in the market that are a bit tricky at the moment, I would say, very tricky. So I don't know. So are we taking any trades today? Look, goodness me, when we started this show, the New Zealand dollar was in a profit, and now it's in a loss. Okay, that's great. Okay, we shall see what happens with these. they seem to be dropping off a bit. I guess it depends what happens this afternoon and what happened. Well, for us, it's the afternoon. For USA, it'll be the morning. And we'll see what happens with those guys if they're happy or unhappy, if they're emotional or unemotional, and what their feeling is on the markets. Yeah, crazy stuff. So gold, I don't know, gold is so predicted at the moment, 50-50. Some guys are predicting, like I say, 7,000. Some guys are predicting even below 2,000. I don't know. No, I don't have a crystal ball at all. McTariff's, the new nothing burger at McDonald's. That sounds good, Mark. That sounds like the one. I need one of those. The McTariff. I love it. Oh, I'll have one of those any day of the week. Then I'll tell you what's happening is, but here in Cape Town or South Africa, we're getting sanctioned heavily because they don't really like how our government acts. And no, neither do we actually. But anyway, that's beside the point. It's costing us on the ground here. You know, when they start this business of sanctioning and stopping giving us money and not helping and whatnot, our rand is crashing to the ground, and people on the street are hungry and suffering. It's not easy for them. Like I say, for the first time I think ever down here, I've seen a U.S. naval vessel in our port on the weekend. I was like, that really doesn't normally happen. But anyway, it happened for whatever reason. Maybe they're just testing the waters. Yeah, Kevin, I also got stopped out of the New Zealand dollar US dollar yesterday for $50 because it was a trailing stop, and I was okay with that. And then I got back in because I thought, no, I'm not happy to let it go. And now it's, yeah, okay, it's not really doing the right thing by us. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how she goes. We'll leave that one in place, see what happens to it. If anything goes. The markets are 50-50, no matter what anyone tells you, and a win rate won't make you money. It's not a win rate that makes you money. It's making profit that makes you money. It's having a business plan that makes you the money. So we're sitting with one trade effectively, even on my real account, one trade. Yeah, well, this is a real account. This is a funded account. This is our account for the group. But yeah, you know, even on the cash account, let's call it that. One trade, dudes, one trade. I'm not sitting in anything. I've had such a whiplash of a year. It's just been insane. And every time I seem to try and take a trade this year, it gets whiplashed. And not enjoying that, to be honest with you. But that's how it is, and that's trading. And I've seen it all before. It is concerning. You know, there's a lot of people looking at the S&P 500 and saying, this same thing happened in 1987 or whatever, or this happened in 1920 or whatever, and is it happening again, and showing you the charts and calling for the big crash and what have you. But I'm not really seeing a catalyst for a big crash at the moment. But that said, you never do. I'm just not seeing the big catalyst though. I'm seeing a correction like I always do. I've seen this 100 times over. Every time there's a correction like this, there's all these doomsday soothsayers that come out and they start talking about the end of the world. They start telling you about comparing it to past crashes and so on and so on, and then it doesn't crash, it just goes up because it's just a correction. There's always corrections along the way, and a crash is really something a lot more serious. It normally happens very quickly, and it normally happens over a weekend. But this is one of those slow, drag you down type scenarios, because what actually happens here, and I've seen this 100 times before, is you've been following this market all the way up for a really long time, then it starts doing this. But you know, you're used to the market going up. Maybe you weren't in the market when it was down. You only started getting in when it started going up. And then it makes a slight correction, and you think, it'll be all okay. It's just corrected slightly. I'll just keep my position, or I'll add a position, or I'll buy another position. And then it goes down a bit further, and you buy again, and it goes down a bit further. And it's one of those drag you down type of corrections. I've seen them 100 times before. And, you know, when you look again, a market that was at 6,000 is suddenly at 3,000, and you're thinking, what the hell happened? You know, how did it get down there? And it just sort of works its way down. Those can be quite tricky markets to negotiate. But once you start seeing the pattern, you start making some money out of it. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you see that exactly what happened, Kevin. You saw that I might get stopped out as well. I actually wasn't even at the computer. I was out when it happened, and but really, it's been tricky. It's been I keep getting whiplashed, and that's where the situation is. When I went out, I looked at that trade, and I was way over $100 up, and it was looking good, man. And while I was out, it whiplashed. I was like, what the hell, you know? It's insane. It is quite annoying, to be honest. Is this the US 500? I just want to check something here. What have we got here? Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting, this. Because I'm actually now wondering if that's planning to break through here, or if it's planning to come back to the downside. This could be a really, really interesting situation. Shall have to see. Okay. Let's see what it does. Right. So, not many viewers today, eh? Not many concurrent viewers today. You guys don't like my face, man. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people don't like me telling them the market's 50-50, to be honest with you. Yes, I saw that rumor. It was actually on the news as well. If you go and have a look at the news here, you can actually see it on the news. I'm going to see if I can pick it up here on the on this news page for us. I saw it here somewhere. Okay, that's why the stock rally is confounding people. Trump threatens additional. Okay, so the rumor was there, Kevin, but then you got this headline 5 hours ago where Trump threatens additional China tariffs, opens negotiations to others. So the trouble is, he's still planning to hit China hard, and China hits back. That's going to be quite rough. But there was ray of hope or false dawn. I don't know. I saw it somewhere here where he actually said, maybe I saw it somewhere else. But that's why the stock market is rising again. I'm just looking here for it. I don't see it at the moment. But like I say, I saw that rumor as well. I did see that rumor as well, and it was but yeah, it's definitely a rumor for sure. But yeah, if he does postpone the tariffs, it's kind of flip-flopping around, because if he postpones those tariffs now, it's a real flip-flop, because he's been so hard and fast on it. Like, I'm putting these tariffs on, and you guys are not going to do anything about it and whatnot. Oh, yes, that's what I saw. Musk actually seemingly personally asked him to step back a bit on the tariffs. Okay, so maybe Musk has seen something that's bothering him. But, you know, it's a real flip-flop if he does that, because he's been forcing it hard, and then he's going to be like, oh, no, wait a minute, let's hang on a bit, because we're getting our butt beaten up here. So, I don't know, hey, guys, it's a very strange scenario, a very strange setup. Maybe he hasn't thought it through the way it should have been thought through. Maybe they should have thought it through a bit more carefully, the kind of reaction they're getting to it and what's happening around the world. I don't know. It boggles the mind. But like I said, the whole scenario is that human beings, psychologically, when they walk into a shop, if something's that much cheaper, I mean, you think about it, like just a car, for example, in where I live, I can buy a similar model vehicle, which would normally cost R1,000,000 or over R1,000,000 in an American or German version, I can buy it in a Chinese version for about 300,000. In other words, when you look at it and say, oh yeah, but we know that Chinese quality and blah, 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 but I've been looking at them and they're not that bad. And with a warranty on that, I could literally buy 3, okay, over a period of, let's say you expected your German or American car to last 10 years. I could buy 3 Chinese cars in that time and make up the same amount of money. I don't have a new car every single time. So you got to think about these things, although people do buy that kind of thing for branding and that sort of stuff as well. But I'm just saying, I'm just using it as an example. It could be food, it could be clothes, it could be anything, People inherently like to buy a good bargain. I mean, wherever they are, it's called bargain hunting, People like sales, they like bargains, and it's gonna have an effect. So in effect, if you do the tariffing, what you're gonna end up with is only Americans will buy American products. I know there's 335 million American people in America, or the population is 335 million. Maybe they're not all American. I don't know. Maybe half of them are Mexican. Who knows? I'm just saying. But if you take that into account, they are a big contender. They are a big trade partner for most other countries. But by the same token, if they end up with only their people buying in their country, that doesn't help, because you need trade partners. You need to trade between the countries to make money. You can't just, people tend to think that by taxing the people in the country's making money. No, that money that you're taxing from the people actually comes from the country. Dollars are made in America and then they're given to people and then they take some back for tax. I mean, it's really nonsensical, but that's how it works. But they're not making a profit by taking money from the people that are actually in the country using that money that they made in the first place. So there's a finite pool of money. That money's in the system, and the only way they can make it bigger is if they print more money. And if they print more money, they reduce the value of the money, because the money is tied against the asset value of the country, and it gets very complicated. But you can't expect to survive by taxing the people within your country. That's not going to make you money. That's just your money that's coming back into the system. But what you actually need is to trade with other countries and try and be profitable at the end of the day and try and make money. So yeah, it's going to be difficult if you can't trade with other countries because you're too expensive. Yeah, I see Musk is seeing Tesla drop, and that's probably what his concern is. But it will. Who's going to buy a Tesla if all the other countries have retaliated with their tariffs? So to get a Tesla into your country is going to cost $1 billion. It's just, no one's going to buy it. So that's why the share value is dropping. The investors, as I've told you, the stock market is not about squiggly lines, right? It's not about squiggly lines. The stock market is about human beings. Human beings trade the stock market, not squiggly lines. The squiggly lines don't define the stock market. So what human beings are doing is they're looking at Musk and saying, we're looking at your company and we want to invest in your company for the future. We're seeing that you've got a few insane political views, and we look at it and think, that's a bit of a problem to start with. Are you going to be running your company in the future, or is someone else? And also, if you export your car to another country, it's going to be insanely expensive because of these tariffs. So we don't see anyone buying your car. And then that becomes a problem all by itself, and investors start to disinvest. Why do people disinvest from companies? They disinvest from companies because they can't see the profit in the future. So the profit in the future is not going to be there, so I'm going to take my money out and put it in a different company. That's as simple as it gets, guys. It's not complicated. It just is what it is. Even myself, when I'm investing, I look at the whole picture. I think, should I invest in that or not? Just this month, myself, I was looking at it and thinking, should I add to a Tesla investment? No, probably not. I'll add to X, Y, and Z. And I added to other things because I'm not seeing Tesla at the moment as the one to invest in. I'm looking at it and thinking it is cheap, but there's also a lot of factors around it that could be problematic, and these tariffs need to settle and they need to sort themselves out before we go down that road, before we go down the Tesla investment road. Let's be straight. The DAX is all the way back at 200. Can you believe it? Can you believe where the DAX is? Wow, all the way back at 200. Amazing. Amazing move. We're going to have to start trading on the 5-minute charts, guys, just to make some money. Just kidding. Don't worry. We're not going to the 5-minute charts. But yeah, you know, this is 15 minutes. Let's go and see what the 5 minutes offers us here. So the 5-minute charts, yeah. See, this could go quite low in the 5-minute charts. And it could come back up. Go up to 56.025 in New Zealand. Yeah, okay. Just looking. Don't worry. Ooh, head and shoulders. That's not good. That means it's coming down to there. 55,700. I was looking at that this morning and thinking, should I wait? 55,700. Bitcoin going down again. Yep, it's following the US market, it looks like. Perhaps it'll just follow it down. Who knows? Maybe it'll just go with it. What do you think? Bitcoin really does seem to be following at the moment. And it definitely hasn't broken through its resistance. And the best thing to do when markets are like this and in turmoil and there's uncertainty and it's whiplashing and you're really not sure which way you're going, is all you can do is trade what you see. Forget about the news, forget about the markets, forget about Trumpy and his stories and tariffs and all the rest of it, and just try and trade with the news, with what you see. Try and look at the markets and follow the markets, because what you're doing when you're following the markets is you're following what all the big companies and traders and whatnot are doing. So, for example, US 500. If you see something like this, just treat it like any other market. Don't look at it, oh, it's the US 500, so it's going to do that. No, just treat it like any other market. What's it doing? Going into resistance. Should I wait? Should I buy? Let's wait for a candle to confirm, see what it does. Just trade it technically and just trade what you see. And that'll get you out one way or another. Because what I'm seeing here is this will probably, in all likelihood, might go up here to test and then come down again. I don't see it recovering just yet, not with all the new noise in the market. But if Trump goes in and says, I'll give a 2-month reprieve on this, and this is where, like I said, forget it and trade what you see. But what will happen is you'll see a move and then you'll take that move and you'll go with it and you'll trade what you see. That'll be the easiest way to trade it. But I must say, if Trump does say there's a reprieve for 2 months, then you'll probably see some movement. But it's kind of odd that, because that tells me that the people that are looking at this are very short-term in their thinking. Because at the end of the day, if he's still going to maintain those tariffs over a longer period of time, say in 2 months' time, whatever the case, it's still going to affect your long-term investment. It's still going to affect that long-term situation. Because if 2 months down the road he comes along and says, all right, we're putting the tariffs back in now, you're back in the same boat. You're sinking down the same river, Why would it change anything? 2 months is nothing. To just postpone it for 2 months and that now recovers the markets, that really doesn't make much sense to me. It just tells me that the economists are very short-sighted in the way they're thinking and the way they're investing. So they're doing a knee-jerk reaction thing. Trump is saying, I'm going to put tariffs in, and the economists are going, sell, 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 sell everything. Well, the guys that know what they're doing in these big trading firms and whatnot are just selling all their shares based on the fact that the reality of it is that, you're not going to have a decent return in the future. So you want to sell out of those and buy something else. And the market comes down and it makes sense. But to put it all back because he's going to postpone it for 2 months, that really doesn't make much sense. Now, I always say that these things always recover. I've seen it all before, and it'll blow over and it'll come right and everybody will just start putting their money back and what have you. And I do think that this did overshoot itself and people sold off too hard. But by the same token, will a 2-month reprieve really make the difference to the markets? And in fact, I don't think it would have made much difference in the first place. There was no need for it to sell off like it did. But people get caught up in the moment, and dead cat bounces like this are pretty much like a revenge trade. People trying to get their money back. And the best thing you can do is actually sit in your hands in a time like this, and like I say, just trade what you see. Actually, when it's like this, I prefer to actually take my trades in the Forex trades, see what I can find there. And it's nice to find a nice, you see the gold is exactly like the US 500. It's sitting on that line. And that can be very, very tricky. Very tricky. Let's just see. So many long tails on nearly everything. Never seen anything like that. Kevin, I've seen it 100 times before. Long tails on everything is a normal. That's when things are swinging around like they are. The buyers and the sellers are confused, man. They're very confused when you've got tails like this. They don't know whether it's Arthur or Martha. You know, they don't know whether it's coming or going. And like I say, that's why I say, with these tariffs, as I say, with this whole story, if he's going to reprieve it for 2 months, in all reality, what difference does that make? Yet, the emotions are so high, and people are so caught up in the moment that they're swinging their trades up and down, left and right. And this is big money, eh? This is not you and me. This is like serious money that's getting moved around in the markets here. So, yeah, I find it hard to believe that people of that much experience still trade that way or still move the markets around that way based on the smallest thing. Because if Trump's going to reprieve for 2 months and then he's going to bring it all back, like I say, I mean, surely these big traders know that it's all going to come back to where it is now, and we're going to end up in the same boat. So, yeah, it's I don't have a crystal ball. It's really difficult to call that. All I say is, like I say, we can only trade what we see. And sorry, random channel, lost my 50k account from Top Step. So sorry to hear that. That's, oh man, sorry, man. I don't know how much a 50k account cost. I think a 50k account, I'm just going to have a look here, guys. I'm just going to have a look here how much a 50k account costs now. Just out of interest. Let's just go and see. 50k account. I suppose it depends what kind of account you got. $149 at Funded Trader Markets. Two-step evaluation, 50k, 175. Instant funding, $389. Okay, so you can get back in if you've got that kind of money. Yeah. Top Step, I don't know how much your account at Top Step was, but it's probably in the same region, eh? But yeah, nah, it's still, you work so hard on the account, and then to lose it like that is just, don't you just hate that? That's insane. But that's why I put the funded account here for us to trade together and to practice on for you guys and whatnot, so you guys can learn and figure it out and what have you. So that if we did lose this doesn't cost me much. I mean, we are losing at the moment on this account, but if I'd opened the cash account, I mean, then I would be losing serious money. So I don't want to do that. My real cash account this year is not doing that great either. It's having a tough time, but yeah, it's okay. It's in the same boat as this. It's a couple of percent down. Okay. We are blessed with volatility. Yes, volatility is wonderful. Volatility is good, but it's good for, like, a lot of scalpers will love a lot of whiplashing volatility. I like volatility, but whiplashing volatility can be quite annoying. Whereas you've got something going a certain way, and then somebody stands up and says, "Oh, the moon's made of green cheese," and woof, it wipes you out the other way. That's just, oh, so annoying. There's nothing much we can do about that. But yeah. Yeah, I thought it meant confusion. Yeah. Manage risk. Yeah. That's what we always talk about. If you watch all the videos, manage risk is what it's all about. All we ever do is manage risk. Unfortunately, when you get a whiplash effect like we've had quite often this year. The whiplashes, you tend to have a rather large amount of your trades getting whiplashed out on risk management. And that has become annoying. But yeah, that's all we talk about is the strategy and managing risk. Now, what you're having to do now when it's whiplashing like this is actually bringing the risk in closer and bringing your profits in closer, and it's getting super annoying. Volatility is good, but whiplashing is annoying. So yeah, while you're managing the risk, a lot of your stop losses are getting hit. Like I said yesterday, we had the New Zealand dollar, US dollar in. It's down today again now. We had it in on a buy. It was going well. We were over $100 in profit. Everything was good on this account, right? Everything was looking good. I went out. I wasn't watching the charts, but I went out. And by the time I come back, it had whiplashed the stop loss out. Now, what do? You know, that's kind of the volatility you have. You can't sit and look at charts all day unless you're a 5-minute trader. If you're a 5-minute trader, you can sit and look at charts all day. You can have little square eyes and you can go mad if you want to. It'll drive you insane. I tried it before. I tried it about 15, 20 years ago, and it's insane. Or 15 years ago. It's crazy. I can't do it, man. You just sit here and look at charts all day. No. I got other things to do, like walk on the beach, look at the rain, have a bit of fun. So I put my risk in. I put my stop loss in, I manage the risk, and I put my take profit in. As I've shown you guys, we put the strategy in place. You put the trade in place and you walk away and you sort of hope that it'll work out. But then with whiplashing, what happens is you get a whole number of trades in a row that keep getting whiplashed out, and then it goes back in your favor. So leaving a manual stop loss in place, an automated stop loss in place is now becoming a problem, whereas it wasn't before. And that's the problem with that kind of situation. It cost $50, so that's actually quite cheap. Your random channel, the account you had, $50. Buy another one, man. Buy another one. Futures $50. I sent an email for US 500. Okay, Shane sent an email. I'm just going to check it out, guys. Give me a sec. I'm just going to check out the email here. Gotta find that email. And then we will check what we've got from Shane here. It's got to go onto that email. There we go. And we've got Shane, and we've got... Okay, so I've got 2 screenshots. Let's have a look at what you got here. And S&P, yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's clear to see why it's giving a dead cat bounce at the moment. All right. That's on the day. Let's just see what the other one says. This one's on the day as well. Okay, took it a bit. Yeah, you took it a bit lower there. Okay. All right. Yeah. Like I say, trade what you see. The fib's giving you some good information there, Shane. Not bad at all. Yeah, I see it's based on 2 different waves. I get that. I see that. And I get that, that it looks interesting, but you do have to be careful in scenarios like this. So what I'm waiting for on the US 500 at the moment, if I was to draw a fib on this, can I draw a fib on this 4-hour chart? Let's just see here. Fibonacci. I'm gonna draw it on this fall. Okay, maybe I should take it from there. So if you use a fib here, now I don't want to confuse everybody else because we don't use fib, right? We use support and resistance, and we use our trends and whatnot. But if you look at this, your golden zones up here at this level that I said, what might happen is this might break to the upside, come up to this level, retest, and then come down again. It makes sense if you draw a fib in, because if you draw a fib in, which is what Shane's using, you get your golden zone right here on the retest, which is a lot of confluence to, it goes up to there, hits that, and then comes down. But I don't want to trade that for the retest just yet, because it's also sitting on the 38.2 on the fib, as well as my resistance area. And on that resistance area, I would need a kind of green candle to give me an upside, so I could take a quick trade up to the 54 with a view to it retesting and then coming back down again. So yeah, Shane, there's the fib. I mean, it's the same trade. It's exactly the same trade. That's on the 4 hour. So that would go through here, give us a green candle, go upside, go to 54, retest, and come down. And that's exactly on the fib as well. So that the fib is giving you good information. It's obviously a very good thing to use. And if you're going to use anything that's indicator based, that's the one indicator that I would be interested in using. Of all the indicators that I ever tested in my career, of all the indicators that I ever used, and believe me, I used them all, including Ichimoku systems, and I've used MACD, stochastic, RSIs, I've used the moving average crossover systems, Bollinger Bands, average true range, you name them, I've tried them and used them in the past. And the only one that I'll stand by, the only one that I'll stand behind and say, that's an indicator that you can use, it's Fibonacci. That's the one that I will stand behind and say, that one is good. The rest are neither here nor there. Most of them are lagging indicators. Look, as I've said before, everything, all the systems in the market, all the indicators in the market, all of them work. Every single last one of them works. There isn't one that doesn't work. And everyone who's invented a system or brought a system together, that genius has gone and back-tested it a million times and it's worked for them. Even the ICT systems, the whatever you call it, that thing with the, gaps in it and all the rest of it, that ICT thing, that works. It works just like everyone else. So yeah, they all work. Nothing is rubbish. But at the end of the day, there are some that work better than others and some that give you more information than others. So the reason we use support and resistance is because it's simple, it's straightforward, it's not complicated. You don't have to overcomplicate things. You don't have to wait for the moon to turn into green cheese or anything to that effect. You can just, have a look, see the green, see the red, take the trade. Easy peasy, no complications, not difficult. But if you start getting complicated with your trades and you start overcomplicating things, then you can confuse yourself, and that's one of the big issues with these different trading systems that are out there at the end of the day. Okay, so Shane, said you're dyslexic. I'm pretty sure you can read a chart with that. You're probably better off than everyone else if you were, because you can just go either way. That's 50-50. So many people go against that 50-50 principle. But for the guys who don't know why it's 50-50 and what the 50-50 is all about, you have to understand that the market's made up of human beings, and at the end of the day, it's human beings that take the trades, not algorithms, not maths, not little squiggly lines. It's human beings that get emotional about what's happening in the market. The whole reason the markets went down over the last few days is because of the tariffs, because of people's emotions and getting into the market and thinking, oh, the tariffs are going to cause absolute havoc, so I'm going to actually sell all my shares and that sort of thing. Besides the fact that there was some money moving in the markets, okay? There is money moving around in America and bills being paid and things that are happening as well. It's not just all tariffs. But, the emotions are running high, and the emotions cause these little sell-offs. And that's human beings. It's all human beings. And the whole point of the matter is here that you'll say, but if it's a 50-50 trade, how can you trade? You need an edge. And well, then you're thinking that the system's going to make you money. Then you're starting to think that a win rate's going to make you money, and that's not the case. The only thing that's going to make you a profit in the market is a strategy. And the strategy is to win more on your wins and lose less on your losses. And that's as simple as it gets. In other words, if you take 10 trades and you win 5 and lose 5, you want to win more on the 5 that you win and lose less on the 5 that you lose. It's like a coin flip. If I flip a coin 10 times, the high probability is it'll land 5 times on the tails, 5 times on the heads. But if I told you can have 2 coins for every one you win and lose 1 coin for every one you lose, there isn't a person on the planet that wouldn't take that bet because it's a fair bet. It's a good bet. And that's what the market is about at the end of the day. The sooner you get your mind around that, the sooner you start picking up on what that's all about. And a couple of guys said that this logical trading that I've got in the background here was getting in the way of the charts, but I can't see that because to me it's behind the charts and everything looks fine. So I don't know what that's all about. Maybe the guys don't want me to have my logical trading logo on there just in case they want to use my chart or something. I don't know. But it looks fine to me. I can't see any problem. It looks to me like the charts are in front of it and everything's fine. And I faded it out as much as I could. That's my logo, so I like having it on there. Yeah, well, you know, the BBC say Trump is playing a high stakes game of chicken, and I don't know. I don't know if he's playing chicken. I'd be very concerned about calling that. I think he really believes in what he's doing. I think he's quite staunch about what he's doing, which is why I was surprised when there was rumors that he's going to give a bit of a 2-month reprieve or whatever on it, because to me he seems really determined to do this, because I think he's been planning this for longer than just when I got into office, now I'm going to suddenly do tariffs. No, he's been planning this since he got ousted in the last election. If I get back into power, this is what I'm going to do. And he's got this whole plan laid out that he's obviously discussed with a number of people. I mean, you know yourself, if you have some kind of plan and you want to do something, you normally discuss it with a few mates and you sort of lay it on the table and see what they think. And then, you know, you'll pick up from those points whether it's a good or a bad idea. And he's obviously decided that this is a great idea for whatever reason. And I get what he's getting at. I actually understand 100% what he's getting at for his country, for the USA. You know, he wants, you know, people to buy American products. He wants to create jobs. He wants factories there. And, you know, it's a great dream. It's a great dream to have. But I think what he's overlooked is the reaction from the rest of the world. What he's overlooked is what's going to happen on the other side of the world. What he's also overlooked, perhaps because he's so wealthy and because when he walks into a shop or a place or anything, he can just buy whatever he wants. He's overlooked that the man in the street, the real man in the street, is looking at how much money is in his wallet, how much he can afford. Can he afford this or not? And this goes as far as middle class, by the way. When they go to buy a car, clothing, housing, whatever stuff for themselves, whatever products they need, computers, screens, TVs, whatever, fridge, stove, you go and you look at the products and you think, well, that one's double the price. Whoa, should I really pay that when I can buy this one, which looks pretty much the same, and I've heard the quality is relatively good on that? Why would I pay $20,000 for this one when I can buy this one for $11,000? And it looks good enough, man. And they've both got a 10-year warranty, and you know, and it works and it looks nice. And okay, so this one's made in Korea and this one's made in America, but oh man, this one's much cheaper. Okay, human nature, psychology. What does the normal person do? Like I said to you earlier on, I can buy 3 Chinese cars here for the price of 1 German car. That's insane, man. Absolutely insane. It doesn't make sense, but what does make sense is they're tariffing the German car here 60%, and the Chinese car 0%. So that's kind of unfair. And that's what's kind of happening in America at the moment is he's putting higher tariffs, for example, on China and less tariffs on this one and higher tariffs on Canada. And he's just playing around with the whole game, the whole ball game. And, at the end of the day, if you want to put import duties, tariffs, whatever on something, I would say don't put it on countries. Put it on products. For example, automobiles, clothing, food, whatever. Put different tariffs on those different products, because that's what we used to do here in South Africa. We would put import duties, tariffs, whatever, on specific types of products and say, if you're importing cars, then they should be at that percentage, and that's it, end of story. That's now changed recently. I didn't know that it had changed with the cars, for example, in this country, automobiles, where they said, suddenly only the European cars are tariffed at 60% and the Chinese cars are at 0%. I didn't know that. I didn't know that had changed. But in the past, it was a level playing field. Now, what's happening in America at the moment is there isn't a level playing field. In other words, they're saying, well, Canada must pay more than Germany, or Germany must pay more than Britain, or whatever the case, or Russia, they will pay more than everyone else. Or, it's kind of, what are you doing, man? And then they're going to retaliate, and then those people, you're never going to have a proper trade deal. You've got to have trade deals, even though you're one of the big players in the world. And it boils right down to even things like commodities and oil and all these different things, and the way you do it. People start to psychologically prefer to buy from someone else because they feel like they're getting nailed by you, for example. So even if you become $1 cheaper, the guy's like, no, I'll buy it from him because you tried to nail me the other day, so I'm not buying off you anymore. I'll go and buy it off that oak because it's he didn't try and wipe me out. He was good to me, so I'll go and buy it off him. There's that too. There's that psychology as well. Zombie's got to be careful with this whole story. I think he's playing with fire. And what you said there earlier with he's playing a high stakes game of chicken. I think he's just playing a high stakes game of I'm gonna mess this up badly. I don't know. It's like insane. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I also thought so. I looked at it and I was like, it looks fine to me, man. It doesn't look bad. I don't see it getting in the way or anything. So I'm beginning to wonder if either the people who made the comments got like a bad screen or bad viewing or whatever the case, or maybe they wanted to use the video for something and they don't like me having. I don't know, but anyway, it's fine. So I'm not changing anything. Don't I like these markets? A lot of money to be made. A real trader trades what they see, not what they need to have. How's it, Daniel? Good to have you on board again. And yes, there is a lot of money to be made, especially if you're investing. I'm loving these markets for that. This is such an opportunity to just buy into the shares at the moment. I was having a bit of fun yesterday adding to my investments, just buying. But that's not leverage trading, and that's not funded markets like this, and it's not actually trading, it's investing. So that for me is the most exciting part, because I can just load the money in there and I know I'm getting in at a really good deal. Even the S&P, I'll buy it on 1-to-1 on an EFT, or ETF, sorry, exchange traded fund. And I leave it on the go as well. That also just grows. It's such a good time, to be buying in and adding to your stocks, adding to your investments. This is like insane. This is the best time in the world to do that. But with trading, I'm getting a bit annoyed with the whiplash effect, Daniel. It's annoying me because you see these spikes here. They're annoying. You get into a trade, it looks like it's going, you traded what you see, it looks good. You look the other way and it whiplashes your stop loss out. And that's beginning to irritate me at the moment because people are saying things and then it's whiplashing. And then I don't like that kind of volatility. I enjoy volatility where you get this move and it comes down and you've got a good correction, and that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for at the end of the day. This is a great time to buy. And then you buy, and then you put your stop loss in place and it whiplashes you out. That's what's getting annoying. Euro JPY and H4, I'll have a look now. Hi Rob, in your opinion, support and resistance or supply and demand during Trump's tariffs? Share Euro JPY as a short. Shane, Euro JPY as a short. You know, during Trump's tariffs, I'd probably say that your supply and demand probably work out a little bit better, to be honest, to be fair. You know, I got to say that, you know, your support and resistance, I'm putting it in, and I'm trading what I see, and it's, like I say, it's whiplashing me, where I think the supply and demand is giving a little bit more accurate in the way of trades. So for example, even here though, but sometimes you get a lot of confluence. As you saw earlier, I drew the fib in here, and it told me the golden area is here at 54. It is also what was support and is now resistance, and that is where your retest will be. And also over here, there is a supply of money. You can see it. There's a supply of money there. So all three things work into that area. So there's a strong probability that it will do that. But if it doesn't, no problem. Then it's just going to break to the downside over here. But yeah, supply and demand is fantastic for trading at the moment. But very much, you know, also the trends, the trend line, the trend breaks, also good, but you're still going to get whiplashed out. You know, I don't know. Do I need to put the stops further out than they already were? I mean, I put my stops quite far out, and they're still getting whiplashed out. I know I'm putting trailings on them, but the movements have been insane. Okay. So what I'm thinking of doing now, and you guys can test it as well, is I'm going to widen the stops. In other words, just put them while this is happening, just put the stops a little bit further out so they don't get hit so quickly. I think that's the only thing we can do with this whiplash effect. Okay, and that's normally in the past, that's what we did as well. Moved the stops a bit wider, because that's, at the moment, the stops are getting hit, let's be honest. So we don't want the stops to get hit, so we need to move the stops out a little bit wider, which reminds me, where's the stop on the New Zealand dollar? Let me make sure that it's not too close. You know, actually, this is a trailing stop again, and it's pulling up. I must actually switch this thing off. Let me put it back down to the 220. That's fine, because our stop should be around 250. There you see that's pulled up with a bit of a move up there. It pulled itself back up again. I want it far enough away, so I'm going to leave that gap and see if that stops it from getting whiplashed out again, because it's getting quite irritating. Let's see if that actually does something, or it actually works. Hi Brummy, good to see you. Oh yeah, Euro JPY, Euro JPY, Euro JPY. I think I called this as a hold because I wasn't really too happy with the way it was sitting. So let's just have a look at what we've got on this. Have some more coffee before it gets too cold. Ooh. Yeah, Kevin, that's what the VIX does. It shoots up when everything else is crashing down. What you do with the VIX, if you have access to it, which we don't here, unfortunately, but I do on other things, is you buy it at 15 and below, and you add as much as you can to it, and it stays there for a long time. And then when somebody like Trumpy starts adding tariffs, it should shoot up, and it makes you a profit. And then you wait for it to come down to 15 again, and then you buy it again. That's how you work with the VIX. If you can find someone that will let you buy it. Okay. Okay. Try a fib. And hi Rob, all in the stream. Hi Luigi. Good. That looks promising, Shane. You say look at it with a fib. Yeah, okay. You know, if I was going to look at this with a fib, I'll actually give it a bit of a wide berth, okay? And you may find this a bit strange, but I would give it a bit of a wider berth. At the moment, it is on its way down. You might want to go a little bit shorter on it. You might want to go sort of around here. Okay. Shorting it is a bit, you see, okay, here's what I'm gonna, yeah, it's not the worst short, by the way. But how far is it gonna go? Okay, let's just have a look here. Yeah, that's a definite short look. Look, you can give it a punt. I don't know what the risk to reward is going to be like. Risk to reward's not going to be fantastic. And on a fib even, I would say it's more likely going to go long from this resistance level, I mean support level here. This is a very old support level that I've got drawn in here. You guys won't see it because I normally draw them in with these purple lines. This is a straight line support that I put in here a very long time ago. And it has a lot of confluence with the actual fib itself that Shane is talking about. Because even if you draw the long one in here, it lines up exactly on the 50. Well, almost on the 50. It's close enough. And that in itself says to me that that's a major support. So your risk to reward is going to be a little bit tricky here on the short. So if you're prepared to trade with a view to making that kind of profit with that kind of risk, it's very one-to-one, I think. You can do it. But I would say wait for it to get to this level and maybe take a long trade from this area. This is the golden area on your fib, both actually, even on this one, Shane, even if you take this one on a fib, it's also golden area here. That's 61, it's a little bit more, but it's pretty much there and thereabouts. So this area is going to be quite strong on a long. Now, the nice thing about a long trade from here is your reward is all the way up and your risk is just down here. You got a small risk and a big reward. That's what I'll look at. So I'd rather look for a long trade on this one, on the Euro JPY, just based on that alone, is that you're going to pick up the golden zone here. You're going to pick it up on this support. There's a lot of confluence for that. And then you're going to pick up that trade to the upside. Let's go and have a look on the, if we can get out of this. Now, first, let's take it to the line chart. Let's see if we can get ourselves a, I can actually draw this in on the 4-hour because it's probably going to be quite a decent level over this. Look at this, guys. I'm just going to put this onto a rectangle so that you guys can see it better. But look at that. Look at that. Okay. Now, this is on the 4. I know I've drawn it in the 4, but that's fine. Okay. Now, let's take it back to the candle chart. Now, look what you've got. Now, you've got this clear area here, which is the golden zone, where this could come back into and basically go back out. So, what I'm saying here, just to give you a clear indication of what I'm talking about, is down into that area and back up. I don't know what you guys think, but that's the way I'm seeing this trade. Rather that than taking a short at the moment with a very poor risk to reward. Why have I got all these lines in here still? I can come out long ago. There we go. Okay. So there you go. That's the trade. So long trade from about 159.70 up to the 164, which is up here, with a stop loss probably down here in the 157 levels. Okay. Is my line chart very faint? Maybe I should change the color on the line chart. I don't know if I can. Oh, let's have a wee look here. The line chart. Okay, it's orange. So it's, wow. I don't know if I can even change that color. Okay, so the main reason I don't trade it down, Shane, is I know that's short-term trade, and you can. By all means, go for it. You can do that. I just don't do that because it's so short-term. This could turn around at any moment. What I look at when I'm taking a trade is my risk to reward. So if my risk is more than my reward, then I don't take the trade. And in this case, it is. My risk is up here, and my reward is right here. So I've got this much reward and that much risk. In other words, I'm risking $250 to make $50, and that's just not, that doesn't work. I'd rather have a bigger reward for a smaller risk. Just the way I work. If you want to take a quick punt and make a quick dollar, of course you can. You can take it. I mean, that's fine. But I find that risk to reward is quite important. And I find that these things can turn on a nail, because what you've got to watch out for as well, look at all the bottoms here. You see how many times the price it's on now is 160.68, right? Look how many times it's hit that price. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just hit that price, hit that price, hit that price, hit that price, hit that price. That in itself is an insanely big support that it's got to break through as well. There's a good chance that it could turn right here and go up. And if it does, that's also a good trade to the upside. But do be careful on that. While you're looking, that's why I say trading's 50-50. What you have to get is trading's 50-50. There's no sure thing. You don't have a predictive capability. You can only trade what you see. But what I see here is a lot of resistance in this level, support in this level as well. What you're hoping for is that it breaks through that, goes down to the golden zone, which Fibonacci gives you, and goes up. You can take any system, and the systems start working against each other. They start giving each other a headache sometimes when you're taking these trades. And so now what I'm sitting with here is, okay, I want to take a trade based on, I'm sitting on a support with a very small reward with a really big risk. I'm thinking, let me wait for the good trade. Let me wait for the up trade. Patience, let the trade come to me. Take the trade. I've got all the reward and very little risk. That's what we're looking at. Okay. Yeah, David, Shane also uses the MAs. I think you can explain that as well, Shane. Shane likes to use moving average as well, and it does work. It's just a bit of a lagging indicator. Okay. Yeah, Shane, I use 21 and 50, and yeah. So there you go. Okay. What you actually find with the moving averages is they lagging indicators. So the trade's already kind of happened, and for example, if you were to put those indicators on here and you're looking for the short, the trade's already kind of happened. You could have probably taken it earlier. Adriano, hi Rob. How do you feel? How's health? You remind me of my father, but he's 70. He's a touch older than me. Not much, but a touch. But no, I'm 100% always fine. Don't have issues that much. And yeah, I pretty much enjoy life, and yeah, things go wrong, got a medical aid, we'll sort it out. I was supposed to sort my eyes out the other day, but I held back on that. I was a little bit worried about it. But yeah. No, don't worry. Health-wise, I'm just great. Apart from one or two small things that have happened in the past, it's all good. The reason I used to wear a hat on the show, and it wasn't so that I could look cool, I used to wear a bandana as well, is because I had skin cancer on my face, which was fixed. So now I don't have to anymore. You can look at my wonderful grey hair. But that happens when you live in Africa, you know, that they actually told me that that didn't happen now. That happened when I was a youngster and I used to play on the boats and all that kind of stuff, and I was in the sun all the time. That's actually when it actually occurs, and then it comes out on you when you're my age. And then you're like, oh, and there's nothing you can do about it, you know. But then I was actually very fortunate. It was caught very early and very easily fixed. So that got sorted out, chop chop. And that's why in the beginning of my videos, the early videos and whatnot, you saw a lot of hats and you saw a lot of bandanas and whatnot. That was covering up the scars, which are gone now. Well, it's still there, but you won't see it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you quickly get rid of it. Thanks, Adriana. Yeah. That's one of my big issues. But you know, I'm a bit overweight because of my sports days. I actually had quite a big body, and when I stopped exercising, it kind of slipped. Yeah, it's very difficult to keep on going, but I do like enjoy the beach and all that sort of thing. It keeps me going, man. Yes, no, absolutely. Always keep my eyes on it. You know, I've been taught to keep my eyes on it now because it can be, it happens, you know, you got to watch it. You do have to watch out for that. Keep an eye on it. Okay. Love the cool hats. Yeah, I still use them quite a lot. And particularly when I go out and I go to the beach and that sort of thing, never without a hat anymore, never without a shirt. That's changed as well. All of that, always like careful and what have you. So yeah, that's just what you got to do now. But yeah, the hats are still, obviously I need them, but indoors now at least I can, you know, be normal. Yeah. So Great British Pound, US dollar is kind of heading to the downside. So which means the euro US dollar. I was waiting for a buy on this morning, and I actually called it for a buy this morning. I'm just waiting for a green candle, but it looks like it might do the opposite, and it might come through here and give a red candle out, and that'll head down, which means the US 500 might do the same thing. Just keep an eye on that. Yeah. Yeah, last year was hot. Coming at the gym as well, shaped. Just need to add the bling bling chains. Thanks, Daniel. I will. I'll get some and I'll put them on. I'll put those big ones on, you know, medallion. Looked really cool. Yeah, no. It was at that time, and actually, you know, you know, you put yourself on video, and you've got those kind of like scars. You're like, ugh, you know, bit tricky. So I'm glad it's gone. Glad that's out of the way. But yeah, everybody thinks, ooh, you know, check this out, wearing his hat and all that. Yeah, it's important sometimes. But I still wear them sometimes on the videos as well. Absolutely, totally. But you think that would be cool, eh, Shane? Me sitting here with chains and medallions. Yeah. I'll give it a go. Like some of these other guys on YouTube with their big bangles and medallions, and hey, I'll learn how to do it. I'll figure it out. Maybe it'll make a good show. Yeah, if you're young, Adriano, you got to be careful when you're in sport and all the rest of it, or pumping at the gym, like you say, or doing whatever, and you build up a kind of a bigger body, When you stop exercising at an older age, because you want to relax a bit now, it kind of it slips, and then you kind of feel a bit uncomfortable about it. But it's very difficult to get rid of it as well. And effectively, I would have to go back to a gym and start really going mad again, which I'll probably do. Because yeah, what can you do? Because this is effectively like 2 or 3 years, and 2 or 3 years without exercising, and suddenly you feel kind of overweight. Yeah. Tell people that it's not that all that easy as they say. Yeah, no, totally. What I'll start doing is I'll wear those chains and those things, and I'll start throwing dollars around, the money and stuff, and climbing into Lamborghinis and what have you. That should be fun. Yeah, I'll film that. Yeah, no, totally. I am gonna actually start traveling the country again soon, so but I'll take you guys with me. I'll get the old laptop out and I'll take you with me, and we'll still do the trading while we're out there. That's the nice thing about trading, guys, or investing or whatever, is you're not stuck here. I can do this from anywhere in the world, wherever I am at any time. Get the old laptop out, check where we are. Easy, even on the mobile phone. So straightforward, guys. Easiest job in the world. You're not trapped in a specific place. You don't have to get up and go to work every day. Well, you do have to get up and do something, but you don't have to get in a car and drive to a place or do anything. It really does give you a lot of freedom in your life. Don't do it for the money. Do it for the freedom. You don't need to make millions. You just need to make enough and enjoy life. It's great. Make the best of your life, especially if you're young. Life goes past so quickly, and you spend it working and working and working and getting your head down and going to the office, and maybe if you're working for a boss, even worse. If I can give anybody advice, live your best life now, because you work so hard for so many years, and then you go on pension and you have 5 to 10 years of pension that you enjoy your life. So you work for 40 years and you have 10 years of enjoyment out of the whole life. I mean, what the hell? Try and enjoy your life from a really young age, and you'll feel much better about it. So many people have come to me and said how jealous they were of my lifestyle, because I stopped working for a boss when I was about 27 years old, started doing my own things, and I got to enjoy myself because I did it my own thing, not somebody else's thing. There was a few times that I opened stores and I got trapped, opening and closing door for the business and stuff, but most of my time I was on my own. And really, guys, if I can give anyone advice, do that, because you can enjoy your life. Your whole life is basically, while it's hard work, it's like you're in retirement, and you just keep yourself busy with stuff. It's like this YouTube channel. I keep myself busy with it. It's fun, and do things that are fun. Do things that you enjoy. Who am I to give you advice? But yeah, just saying, just think about it. If you're a young guy and you're in your 30s, definitely make a plan, dude. Make a plan. Get out there and enjoy life if you can. Do whatever it takes to enjoy life. Don't get yourself trapped in one of those horrible jobs. Oh, I couldn't do it. I don't know how my friends could do it. I couldn't do it. Tell you what, my best friend is still working for a company waiting for his retirement, and it's insane. It's really, I don't know how you can do it. Sitting there, getting up every day, going to work, stuck in one place, waiting for holidays at one time of the year or so. No, it's not for me. Also do the one with you covered in bandages to tell what the market can do with you, to your mind. Daniel, I should have you here for the ideas, man. I need some ideas. Let's do that. Yeah. Mel Gibson, Freedom. Yeah, there you go. Adriana says regrets you don't have kids and 35 soon. Yeah, don't regret it. You start late. One of my closest friends only had his kids when he was in his 40s. Don't worry about it, man. You'll get there. Hit the like button there, guys. Let's make the algo share the truth out. Yeah, come on. Let's get it out there. No place for women. You know, look at it this way. You've enjoyed your life up to this point, so what the hell, you know? You know, when you have a family as well, you have a lot more responsibility. And I actually really started my family when I was already on my own. So, you know, when the ends of the months come around and you've got people to pay and families to support and things like that in the early years, it can be a little bit daunting, and you start second guessing yourself as to, you know, should I have had a normal job or whatever the case. But you get over it. You work it out, and then you start making loads of money, and it doesn't matter. You know, so people say you don't need money, but you really do. Unfortunately, you really do. You can't live without it. Okay, Adriana, you got to make time for the woman if you want children. Well, Kevin, that's the best chirp I've heard this week. Yeah, you do have to make money for the woman. Make time for the woman if you want to make children. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, so well, make lots of money, and then the woman will just be like magnets. You know, they'll come to you. Don't worry. That also works. Yeah, no. But then my goal is not to make you rich; it's to make you competent and try and keep your money. So, you know, that's at the end of the day. You don't want to throw it all away as well. No. As usual, Kevin's giving us a good laugh, and that's always exciting. I enjoy that. Helps a lot. The US 500 is retreating to on the weekly. You say it's retreating to the 61% on the weekly. There's the weekly. You're really doing the fib these days, old. Got a way to go. But of course, you showed me on the other one that it's with more information on the chart, that maybe you get a better look at it. I don't know why it's not giving me all that information, but I take it from the top here on a fib. Excuse me for using the fibs, guys. It's just for Shane. He likes to see the fib. Yeah, I still got a bit of a way to go. Okay. Yeah. Oh, fib extension. Okay, sorry, fib extension. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Bikes are like trading, Adriana. I presume you're talking about motorbikes, of course. I used to have a lot of motorbikes, and yeah, they're a bit like trading. They're addictive. They're addictive. I want another one now. Ducati would be nice right now. Yep. Totally agree with you, Adriana. Bikes are addictive. No. It's okay, Shane. I get it. It's fine. It's okay. Oh, you've sent the email. There you go. You don't have to, but you've sent it. That's great. Let's get the inbox going here. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see what you've got here. 50%, 61%. Yeah, I see what you're doing there. And yeah, it's in the golden zone, so that does make sense. But like I said earlier, there's a lot of confluence on the US 500, even though you've got that golden zone, that this is So you could probably get a long trade out of this, going up to the retest here, and then that will probably bounce and come on down. That's probably where it's going to do. In all probability, either that or it's going to turn right here and give us the down. I'm actually waiting to see what it's going to do, because look at this. It's just sitting here. This is a market that's been jumping around like crazy, and it's just sitting here. It's not doing anything. It's just literally giving small little candles. I think the traders have given up. They're sitting here thinking, which way are we going to go? But we'll see when the US market opens up later what it does. But I think at the moment, people are just sort of sitting going, I wonder which way this is going to go today. The tariffs have really sort of, I think, knocked the steam out of people somehow. They're all confused. They all don't know which. Look at that. Look at that undecided candle there. That spike up and down there. That's probably what took us out of the New Zealand dollar yesterday, by the way. That little monster there. But yeah, that's just traders. They just don't know what to do. They just don't know which way this is going. Which is, like I said to you earlier with these tariffs, I'm very, very surprised that the bigger traders and the bigger companies and whatnot are not seeing it as a bigger picture, because I'm seeing it as a bigger picture and looking at it as, well, a postponement for 2 months is really not going to make any difference to this. If he's going to put the tariffs, they're going to be there. Just accept it. Just work your way through it. It always blows over, and people will carry on investing in their companies. You see, the way I invest in companies is I look at it as I'm investing in a company with a view to somewhere down the line that company is going to get bigger. It's going to become more profitable. It's going to grow. And that's what you're doing. What these things affect is the very short-term scenario of trading. For example, you're trading this in a very short-term view, with the view to making money within a few weeks, few days, few hours, whatever the case. So you're trading the S&P between a certain levels, thinking, well, I'm going to make money with it quickly going up or going down, or lose money with it going up or quickly going down. But the bigger investment companies and trading and that sort of thing shouldn't even be seeing a problem here. They should just be like, oh, we're just, we've got our investments in, that's our portfolio, and that's it. So I don't know, this kind of trading is always amazed me over the years, where something small happens and the market just like reacts to it. It's weird. It's not necessary that the market should crash like this for tariffs. It's going to work itself out the system. It's going to work its way back to normal. People will buy into companies. The companies will do well and they'll grow. Except for Tesla, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Tesla won't make it. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that one, eh? But we'll see. Okay, when the bell rings, that will give us the candle there. But, Kevin, I'm not sitting here for 3 hours, dude. I've got other things to do. Okay. Honda Hornet, nice. 3 hours until the bank bell rings. A lot of sellers still in play. It depends on the emotions. And like I said, with Trumpy now saying that it might give a 2 months postponement, there might be a lot of buyers coming into play. A lot of people buying their stock back. It's like a chain of events. That's why this push so hard is, they start selling off, and then everybody looks and says, well, I've got to sell off as well, because that's selling off. So it's like everybody starts selling off, and it just gets worse. It's like a snowball. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. People selling off, and then people realize it's gone too far. Now, when it's at this point, everybody wants to start buying back. I see it as an opportunity. I see as an opportunity to start buying, but with the investment side, I just start buying as much as I possibly can afford. Start buying into the markets, because as far as I'm concerned, this is a pretty good area to be buying into on the share side. But on the trading side, I'm waiting for more signals and more information as to what's going to happen. I would like to be able to say, I want to buy into the S&P here on leverage trading and just leave it and wait. But there's a good chance that this could fall a lot further, because I've seen this all before. Just when you think things look good, poof, 4.5. Trust me, that can happen. So I'm just waiting for more confirmation before I start buying on leverage trading and on our funded account and whatnot, because we could blow this account based on this alone. Okay, Kevin's off. He needs to go. His children are causing chaos in the house. No, you have to pay us to take the kids, Kevin. Better deal in the markets. Yeah, take care, Kevin. Hornets from 2009 to 2009, very friendly new starter bikes. If you want to play expensive toys around 300, 400 cc. Yeah. Okay, so what else have we got? EuroCAD. Oh. Where's our New Zealand dollar, US dollar at the moment? Yep. Okay. That's actually holding on. $7.60. No big deal there. That's holding on. Look at that big fall down there. Whew, nice one, eh? It's jumped. It's kind of following the US 500 and it's kind of sat in this area. I think this one might go all the way up to this level here before coming down again. But it's also kind of breaking out of structure. It's quite a straight down structure. So I'm thinking when you look at supply and demand, that level's all the way up the top here. It's quite far away. I'm hoping that we get a good level. I'm not hoping that's not the level. I'm hoping it's going to go further up. And that'll be quite good. Take care, Kevin. All right. I'm also going to shut it down just now and move on, and we'll come back on Thursday and we'll play a little bit further. Today, I just wanted to talk to you guys more about the whole Trump tariff thing and why it is what it is and why this is happening, so that you get a better understanding of what's happening in the markets. And also, it's not the end of the world, guys. Don't panic. Just trade what you see and just keep your eye on it and manage the risk. If you manage the risk, you'll be okay. Like I said, always tell you, assumption's the mother of all evil. Don't assume any of the trades. Don't assume what's going to happen in the future. Rather, just look at what you see and just work with what you see and work on that. Remember that the market is 50-50. And this whiplashing around, also I wanted to mention that what I'm doing with the whiplashing around is I'm just looking at widening the stop loss a bit on our trading so that we get a little bit more room in the trading. Yeah, keep an eye on the risk to reward and don't overdo it. I think be careful of calling a bottom, Adriano. Just trade what you see. The calling a bottom is the supermarket thing, the supermarket mentality that I always talk about, where if something looks cheap on the markets, it's probably meant to be cheap. And if something looks cheap on the markets or expensive on the markets, it's probably meant to be, because it's the stock market. It's not like a supermarket where it's on special or whether it's too expensive to buy. If it's too expensive in the market, it's good. And if it's too cheap in the market, it's not good. But keep that in mind. If you've got support and resistance or supply and demand, or even trends, you can, or in Shane's case, Fibonacci, you can work with that and you can effectively manage your risk, work around it, make more on your wins, lose less on your losses. Have a plan. Shane, look at your risk to reward. Don't be taking too many scalps with a very big risk and a small reward. Try and work it the other way around. Try and get more reward out of it, whichever system you're trading on. And then, yeah, I'm gonna shoot and I'm gonna be on my way. And please like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. There's not thousands of people on my show like many others, but then I'm also not telling you can buy a Ferrari in a day, so perhaps that's why. Guys, have a wonderful trading week, trading day. If you guys want a free Forex book, if you haven't got it already, there is one down in the link in the description. And also, if you guys would like a funded account, don't forget, I've left a link for you there as well. For those of you that need a funded account, they're not too expensive. They're quite reasonably priced. That's what we're trading with here. Hopefully we can keep this funded account so I don't have to buy another one. You know, that does cost money, but not a lot. But yeah, as long as we can keep this one, we don't have to buy another one. It's okay. It looks like, I'm just looking at my picture here, and it is still pretty dark. It is still raining here in Cape Town. The weather is still pretty cool, but yeah, I have somewhere to go in this rain, so I'm going to go and do that. Right, okay. So thanks for watching, guys. And I'll spot you guys soon. Spot you on the rebound. Don't forget Thursday show at 2:30 GMT +2. Don't forget to come back and watch tomorrow's video and Friday's video, which gives you lots of information on the markets. Take it easy. Don't forget, keep your feet in the ground and reach for the sky. Walk on still waters. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thanks for watching.